Gilgeous-Alexander. McCollum staying with him. Spins, gets inside. Left-handed off the glass. Oh, what a sweet move.
Giddy, tough spot. Backdoor. What a pass. What a play. And J-Dub picks the pocket of Trae Young. He'll take it himself.
This is Udart. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested Podcast, coming to you live Sunday, April 28th, on an off night for the Thunder in the NBA playoffs. They are currently up 3-0 on the New Orleans Pelicans. We will dive into some Game 4 talk, a little bit of Game 3 talk. We got a lot for you tonight on a normal Sunday edition of the podcast. I'm your host for the evening, Jacob Niffen. Got my guy, Justin Peabody, with me tonight.
Hello, everybody.
And we've got Nick Crane along for the ride.
What a pro wants, what a pro needs, just to get it stuck in your head.
It's already been there for weeks.
It's a good
months.
commercial. You give me Thunder plus Christina Aguilera back in is that late 90s or early 2000s?
That's late 90s. Don't ask me.
I'm going to look up when that song released.
I'm going to get you 1998.
98?
Book it.
Oh, is that your guess or did you look it up?
That's my guess.
Oh, okay. We're going to look it
know.
up right now.
I just said it so
What a
confidently
girl
it sounded
wants.
true.
Song by Christina Aguilera. It's a banger. It came out in 1999.
Ah!
Wow.
So Nick, how old were you in 1999?
I was 4. That was the last time the Dallas Stars won a Stanley Cup.
All right.
Great year.
Incredible.
Justin
Great
and I were
year.
both 9 years old.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
4th grade, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we are brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network and the best fast casual dining in Oklahoma City, both Dave's Hot Chicken and Spark OKC. Here's the thing, folks. You might not get another Thunder home game for a week. So my recommendation is during that week off when you're waiting for more Thunder basketball, you're not going to a game, but make your way downtown and go eat some Dave's or some Sparks as your celebratory the Thunder have won the first round meal. Just do yourself the favor.
If you could go, maybe you will go. Let's say they win Game 4. Which restaurant are you going to and what are you ordering?
Oh my gosh. If it's my celebratory meal, why not both?
Oh.
No.
Who will?
I got to say, after the live pod, after the last game in the regular season, Justin and I had dinner at Spark. And what was the burger I got?
It's the one with the Parmesan crisp on it. I don't remember what it's called.
It's a specific cheeseburger. I'm forgetting which one. Gas. So good. Blew my mind how good it was. So that's probably what I would go with, Nick. Some regular fries. I don't want the pink fries. I just want to go regular.
Come
crispy.
on.
I know.
I love
Live a little.
Fries. I love
and
the
then
pink
a big
fries.
old Coke Zero. I'm into it. Make your way downtown. Go eat at Spark. Go eat at Dave's. They are great sponsors of the show. We appreciate them immensely, and they make wonderful, wonderful food. Justin, you weren't here with Nick and I yesterday, but
This
the
is
Thunder
true.
went down to a 75% capacity Smoothie King Center arena in New Orleans on Saturday afternoon and laid the hurt down. Went up 3-0 with another shellacking of the New Orleans Pelicans. Can we just get your overall thoughts? We're not going to make you do an entire post game right here, but give us your overall thoughts and feelings of Game 3 specifically.
It felt like a few minutes before halftime, Oklahoma City just decided this was over. We're done here. I watched highlights. I did not get to watch the game, so I went back and watched. I did not watch the whole thing this morning, but from what I could tell, it was back and forth, as you might expect in the first road game of a series. Oklahoma City looked like they were doing some good things, aside from J-Dub getting smacked in the face. Really nice minutes from Cason Wallace and Josh Giddey in his absence. And then a few minutes before halftime, they just decided they were done here and put it away. And I think from what I saw, the guys I just mentioned, Case and Wallace, Josh Giddey, like awesome games combined with awesome games from Shea. A great game from J-Dub after coming back from getting his smacked. And was it 5 blocks from Chet? 4?
I believe it was like 7. I still believe in this theory that he gets like half the blocks he actually records.
Somebody's cooking the books at the
100%
at the league level.
A buttload of blocks and played Valanciunas off the floor. And like that's my takeaway. It looked like some of the regular season matchups where Oklahoma City was just very clearly the better team. It looked like they were the more talented team. It looked like they were the more veteran team, which I think is a really interesting theme for us to talk about. Of so much talk about this team's youth. When I watched the highlights from Game 3, what I saw was a team that was doing the dirty work, like Aaron Wiggins just snatching the ball away from Brandon Ingram, or Lou Dort. I think it was Brandon Ingram too, like diving over his head to get that loose ball. Like those are the plays you expect the veteran savvy teams to make. But this young pup OKC squad is the one making those types of plays. And I think it's just all culminating in what's been a very impressive start to the NBA playoffs for the Thunder.
Here's a takeaway for you. I think we all knew watching Shea for 82 games in the regular season. He didn't play 82. However many games he played, 70-something games. We knew that his style of play would translate to the playoffs. Maybe he would get less foul calls.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like what he does will translate. There's a lot of folks out there that said, oh, you can't even consider him an MVP until you see him do it in the playoffs. I think we all expected him to be just fine in the playoffs. He has been just fine. He's been super efficient. He's made big shots. And I know there's all this talk. I'm getting to my point, I promise. There's all this talk about it's the Pelicans without Zion. Like, is it really that impressive to go sweep that team? At the same time, New Orleans still has all of their elite Shea lockdown type defenders. And I think before the series, we all said, Zion or not, this team may be best equipped to shut Shea down in the Western Conference. And he's had no problem. So big takeaway, not just from Game 3, but from like the last 2 games is like, I think Shea is just fine in the playoffs. He's going to be doing his thing. He may have an off night here or there, but like the reality is it's going to come down to the non-Shea guys to see how far this team goes. The J-Dubs, the Chets, etc.
We had a discussion, and I'm glad you brought it up, Nick, on our playoff preview show, or maybe the one before that, of like which team scares you the most in terms of they could actually shut down Shea. And I think we all felt like it was New Orleans.
Yeah.
How do
Herb
you
Jones.
feel now looking at the rest of the playoff field, like what Oklahoma City has in front of them, knowing what Shea just did to Herb Jones?
Yeah.
What happens the rest of the way with Shea?
They send 2.
I agree.
Yeah.
My only, I wouldn't even call it a concern. The only thing I foresee, nobody's going to slow down Shea better than Herb Jones, likely. Like the Clippers, if Kawhi Leonard's knee miraculously heals, he's got a shot. If they even make it to the second round. Dallas, PJ Washington will try. Don't think he has much of a chance. Nuggets, same thing. Timberwolves, they might have a chance. Like it's a really dang good defense collectively.
They got 3 guys that they could. I mean, I think Shea would probably
Throw at
cook
him.
Mike Conley.
Yeah.
But Ant is really good. Jaden
Yeah.
McDaniels is really good.
Yep.
Yep.
And his cousin. I think
That's
that's maybe the concern. But what I'm maybe more like worried about or thinking about in the future is like no individual person or team making it difficult on Shea. It's Shea and his teammates making it difficult on him. I would say it's really easy to be an efficient scorer when you're leading the whole damn series and you're up 10 or 15. You don't have to force stuff. Like there's been very few times where Shea's had to like go out and just get buckets. Like he has had big shots, but he has not been down 15 and hit and oh my, I'm the number one option on a team that has to come back from 15. I got to do some stuff. We haven't seen that yet. That's the only thing I foresee. The circumstance is what I'm saying, not the actual defensive team.
And I think we got the closest we've gotten to that was game 1, where he had a few turnovers, right? There was a string of kind of bad possessions, but they've, like you said, they've not been in that situation since.
Let's keep it that way, huh? All the way through.
Well, let me play devil's advocate.
16-0.
Yeah.
Let me play devil's advocate on that real quick.
All right. That's my role, but go ahead.
Any concern with like the Thunder not facing quote unquote playoff adversity yet, with the chance of moving on to the second round as early as Monday night?
No.
I mean, you might say game 1 is like a little bit of playoff adversity. That was again, that game was just a rock fight. I mean, that game was disgusting. But like Nick just said, they haven't been down 15 trying to claw back. It's the series is tied 1-1. You're game 3 on the road and you're down 15 and the other crowd is going crazy. They haven't experienced that yet. Is that any sort of concern for you guys at all? Do you wish they had gone through more adversity here early?
The only reason I would say no is because Mark has put together a system in the postseason where until somebody forces them to be different, they're going to do the same shit they did all year. Deep rotations, run and gun, turn you over, throw a little bit of zone at you here and there. Like, they have not changed as a team.
Yep.
At all. Like, maybe Kenrich not playing a whole lot. There's been some like little things that you see. It's like, oh, that's a new playoff wrinkle. But in totality, it's the same Thunder team doing the same things. So in that regard, like, it's harder to do in the playoffs, obviously. But I think if they were down 15 or faced adversity, I think Mark has built a system where he's like, hey guys, look, it doesn't matter that it's game 2 of the second round of the playoffs. We've come back from a lot of games. Just do the same thing. Like, he's instilling this culture of like, it doesn't matter if it's a big moment or you're playing the Washington Wizards. You do the same thing and you get the same result.
Wizards catching strays on this podcast on Sunday night.
Nick, I think this super chat from Cooper Rury, who says, what a pro wants is Mark as a coach. What a guy. We have to interrupt. Coach of the year, NBA coach of the year, Mark Daigneault.
Landslide coach of the year.
Yeah. Landslide.
Mm-hmm. Nuts. It's crazy that when he was announced as coach, we were in the middle of COVID and it was a virtual press conference with Sam and Mark in presumably different rooms or at least distance from each other on a camera. Just all of a sudden you fast forward 3.5 years and number 1 seed and coach of the year. And we're sitting here talking, is this the developmental guy and they got to hire somebody later when they're good again? It's like, no, you actually just have the best coach in the league.
It's kind of wild. Congrats to Mark. That's very well deserved. Nick, the team has talked recently. I think it was Shea in his game 3 post-game press conference. They saw all kinds of different stuff all season as far as coverages and schemes and wrinkles and the way teams were going to defend him and all this other stuff. And that's not just like shit that happens in a season. That is stuff you see. It is stuff you work through and you store away in the back of your mind that you can come back to and know, hey, we've gone through this thing and this thing and this thing. We've seen this type of coverage. We've seen this 2-3, this 3-2, this box and 1, this switching on the pick and roll. Like, they've kind of gone. I think they were so good in the regular season that they caught so many different looks from other teams. And now when teams try to catch them off guard by giving them those different looks in the playoffs, they're ready for it. And they're just very malleable.
Malleable.
Did I still mess it up?
Yeah.
The ghost of Taylor Peterson's on this pod.
Yeah.
Malleable. They can change quickly.
They can. And to take that a step further, Mark made a comment in practice, like towards the end of the regular season. It kind of made me like chuckle at us and like collective Thunder Twitter. there's been a lot of times in the past few years, whether the team was bad or good, where you're like, why is this guy playing in this situation? Or I'm not going to give names or throw strays because Jacob will call me out. Why the hell is this guy playing in the fourth quarter of a close game that feels like it's a high significance game? Mark, I forget what the actual quote was, but basically said, not just this year, for the past few years, we have intentionally put ourselves in situations and done things to prepare us for whatever is going to be ahead. And so it's little things like, Lord knows if game 3 of the next round, Lindy Waters is forced to play because someone's hurt or something happens, you're probably thinking like, thank God all those times I was pissed when Mark put Lindy in a big game. The guy has some experience now. It's like, wow, maybe Mark knows what he's doing and has a bigger plan than the collective Thunder Twitter that lives in a vacuum of what's happening in the moment.
Like Cason Wallace getting thrown in after the J-Dub injury.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And was kind of awesome. Like did a great job with that opportunity.
Kind of.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
It would have been so easy because J-Dub, was it J-Dub or somebody got hurt? Like Cason's first start was early in the season. And it would have been really easy to start anybody else besides a rookie. And it just all these things as they unfold, you see the brilliance of Mark, who is influenced by Sam. I said it last week on this pod, is like, this team is inexperienced, Mark is inexperienced, but you know who isn't is the guy at the top who's been there, done that, and they're ready.
Yep. We have another super chat from Alan McIntosh. Congrats to Coach Daigneault. His interview on TNT was awesome. Such a humble guy who loves this team and organization. The guys love him too. I think he's the best coach the Thunder have ever had. And I think you guys both said it. The thing I always come back to with Daigs is the one time that he talked about switching sides of the floor. Do you guys remember that quote?
I'm going to squint about, like Mark. I don't know.
He talked
Speaking
about.
Speaking of, the NBA posted a picture of Mark.
Yes.
100% AI generated or Photoshop, because it just looks strange with the background. And the eyes are like awkwardly wide open.
Very
looks like
chosen.
MFer looks like he saw a ghost.
Incredible. And also, if you go back and look at that photo, Eric Maynor's in the background, and it gave me like Russell Westbrook staring at the MVP trophy vibes.
That's
pretty
funny.
Great. Anyway, Daigneault was talking about switching sides of the floor in a pregame media availability a couple months ago. And he was talking about how some teams have tried to use that as an advantage. And when it started was that Warrior series where the Thunder went up 3-1. And Steve Kerr,
I know what you
randomly
switching sides of the court as far as like where your bench sits.
Correct.
Not like transition defense.
Yep.
That
exactly.
I was confused at first. No, you're good.
Let me clarify. Steve Kerr randomly pulled that out in the middle of the series. And it's like one of those little things, like when you're down 3-1, like you'll try whatever. And they did that, and he said it threw everybody off because it's like where you're used to being, it's, you know, that you look over and the coach isn't there signaling the plays in a different spot. It's just like a little thing that throws you off your rhythm. He said in that moment, he tucked that away. And now he just does it to screw with him, like just does it randomly so that is never an issue. I think there's so many little things like that, like playing Lindy Waters in key moments in a game in mid-January on the road in a tough situation. Like those little things, it's the same exact philosophy. And I think that's how Daigneault does probably everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why this young team doesn't look rattled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, 3 games into the playoffs, so you have to put a big fat asterisk on that declaration because they're gonna look rattled at some point. But it's been impressive so far for sure.
It's kind of just like a leadership thing where you only grow in uncomfortability.
Mm-hmm.
You never grow when you're comfortable.
Yeah.
And so he's just done little things to make them uncomfortable to kind of push the envelope. And a short-term setback in the regular season 2 years ago pays dividends now.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
You just do little things to change things up and make people feel a little bit differently, push them outside of their comfort zone.
Sean in the chat brings up a good point too. They gave up a 30-0 run on the road to their potential next round opponent when they were in Dallas, a game that I was in the building for, and I can confirm.
And they won.
Nick, you were there too, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can give that. That was about as hostile of an environment. Like that was a playoff level hostility environment that they came out and won. And they did that. Didn't they lead the league? I don't know if they ended up leading the league, but like for a good chunk of the season, they had the most double-digit comebacks.
I think they ended in the
league.
lead.
2 years in a row, actually.
That's a hostile environment in Dallas that doesn't even give their folks free playoff T-shirts, but
because no one wore
poverty
the
franchise
first game.
Hey, at least they show up.
To put a bow on the
out
Daigneault stuff, Alan, first of all, thank you for the support. Great call out. I agree with you. Mark is the best Thunder coach this franchise has ever had, irrespective of what happens the rest of the way. I think data would suggest like Scott Brooks is the only other guy to win the award with the Thunder, and I think he's already better than Scott. To follow up on that, I think that what makes Mark so special is that he was homegrown, just like a lot of the players on this team. Like, think of Lou Dort. Like, coaches don't get drafted. So there's no like, oh, you skip the G League. Like, there's a process for all coaches. But the same way that guys like Lou Dort were like molded and built and bought into the culture and were developed into the guy for the moment, it's the same with Mark. He joined this franchise in 2014 and wins the coach of the year a decade into his tenure. And I just think that speaks volumes to like the way this organization thinks about its people, not just its players, front office, coaching staff, all the above. Like they are very much like in-house. We're going to build people to be the best people they can be. And this is the latest example.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Let's get back to that playoff matchup with the Pelicans a little bit. Another question I wanted to ask you guys. 3 games in, one of them close, the other 2, not so much. What have we learned about this team in their inaugural playoff appearance?
I think for me, the defense is just filthy. 92, 92, 85. Like, that's nuts. Especially because, like, yes, you know, the old cliche of like scoring goes down in the playoffs, but like look around the league. Has anyone else scored 85 points in the playoffs?
I think Orlando.
Maybe Orlando.
But that's not because of defense. That's because Orlando just can't score the basketball.
Right. That's different. But like that, they are suffocating the Pelicans. It's been extremely impressive, and I think it's an all 5 mentality. Everybody on the floor is pulling together. I was watching a good portion of the Mavs Clippers game today and getting some PTSD watching Russell Westbrook calling for switches at bad times and not calling for switches at others, and taking on I think he called for a one-on-one on defense on Luka and then just like stopped as soon as Luka went around the screen. Like, seeing things like that brought back a lot of bad memories. And this Thunder team just doesn't have those types of habits. Like, they're constantly swarming. They're constantly communicating. I've been making, you talk about what a pro wants. What's been stuck in my head for the last week is Lou Dort's mic'd up segment of just him being like, move, 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 move.
Lou Dort's the background vocalist for Migos.
So good.
It is funny. Every 3, he just makes the machine gun noise.
That's going to be a sounder.
100%. I can't wait.
So, yes, it's the defense.
Nick, what about you? What have you learned from this team in their first 3 playoff appearances?
That they have the makings of, I'm not going to say they are a championship team yet. I think next year after, it's going to be a no-brainer. They have the makings of a championship team, and the fact that they are efficient with their scoring. Like, if you can go into the playoffs and continue to convert, not only generate high quality looks, but convert on your high quality looks, you're going to be really, really good. They did it all regular season outside of game 1. They did it all this entire series. But then also when the times get tough and you have to have isolation scoring, they also have the guys that can get to their spots and do that. So mine actually is offense. I agree with Justin. Defense is the reason that they're in this and that they're dominating the series. But like offensively, when you think about like what you have to have in the playoffs to succeed is like star talent, guys that can get buckets, like washed up, quote unquote, washed up James Harden literally won a playoff game today.
He went like, what, 8 of 10 straight?
Yeah, as much as you want to hate on him, like the guy can get a bucket in the playoffs and you have to be able to do that. Oklahoma City has
Luka was guarding him, but
yeah, like lockdown Luka that 0 of 60 in game 3 when he guarded players. They have they have at least 2 guys that can get their shots, but they collectively are an efficient shooting team, and that combination is lethal.
And they have 2 guys that can get their own shot, but once they get the blunder going, they have other guys that aren't. If it's a standstill possession, you're not throwing the ball to like Lou Dort and just letting him cook. But if they get the defense just shifted a half a step out of position and they get the blunder churned up and going, each of those guys can put the ball on the floor and make a play. And I think that is just so big. Nick, for me, one of the biggest things I've seen, this goes to your offensive development comment there. I said it on, I think, the game 2 post game. I'm going to say it again here. There are 2 ways a superstar can win you a game. Way number 1 is they pull a Jalen Brunson from today and they go for 50. Way number 2 is they draw enough attention that they allow the rest of their team to play in a man advantage. And the fact that Shea is willing and able to do both of those things, I think is huge for this team. I don't know how many times in this series I've seen the Pelicans double on a pick and roll or shade over to Shea's side, and Shea will do just enough to get that second guy to commit and then is immediately off the ball because he knows the rest of his team is playing in a 4-on-3 rotation situation, which is a hell of a phrase. The rotation situation might be my new band name. You get them in a rotation situation, and the rest of them are willing and able to move the ball and to win in that rotation. And it's because Shea drew that extra defender like a superstar does. And if he can draw the extra defender when they're throwing Herb on him, I don't know what Dallas does or what the Clippers do, because they don't have a high-level defender like that.
Yep.
And so it becomes very, very interesting.
I think that you mentioned it earlier, Jacob, like what's going to happen in future series. Like they're going to bring 2 people at Shea. If the Thunder can make teams pay for that becomes much harder to do. They have all year.
Like exactly. I have full confidence they can make other teams pay for that.
That's going to be, I think that will be probably a key storyline in future series. I also think we've learned that CJ McCollum, it's washed.
Mm-hmm.
He's been awful.
And I think the Pelicans
on both sides of the floor.
Brandon Ingram trades this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sad.
Before we move on, I wanted to read this just because it made me chuckle. Our good buddy Sean in the chat said, "We learned that Brandon Ingram's therapist is going to end up making a lot of money unraveling this mess." It's going to take that therapist a while to get Lou Dort's face out of Ingram's brain.
It's going to be like that KD, was it a Gatorade commercial where he sits up in a cold
KD
sweat?
Dwayne Wade commercial, yeah?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Hey, we're going to take our first break of the other night, First break of the night. On the other side, it is time for some hot takes. We will be right back. And we are back. It is time for everyone's favorite segment, the Dave's Hot Chicken Hot Take of the Week. Justin, you want to read that ad?
Oh my gosh, put me on the spot.
Nope, I got it. I got it.
Don't take that from me.
Take it away.
I was waiting for the sound cue, but Silva's not here, so we're just going to do it.
I don't have sounders.
The East Hollywood pop-up sensation turned fast casual superstar Dave's Hot Chicken is now serving Oklahoma in Bricktown, Edmond, and coming soon to Chisholm Creek. Their mouth-watering sliders and tenders are offered at 7 spice levels, ranging from no spice to Reaper, which requires a signed waiver for those who dare. Each piece of hand-breaded chicken is spiced to order using a blend crafted specifically for its heat level or no spice at all, along with sides of house-made kale slaw, creamy mac and cheese, and crispy seasoned fries. And try the new Dave's Not Chicken. Cauliflower slices that taste just like Dave's Hot Chicken, but they're not. Visit Dave's Hot Chicken in Bricktown right next to Fuzzy's Taco Shop before or after the next Thunder home game or as a celebration meal, as Jacob mentioned earlier.
Those tenders going to hit different after that sweet, boys. That'll lead us into my hot take. I don't think it's hot, so I'll have to come up with another one. The series is done Monday night. The Pelicans look like a defeated team. They look like a wounded bird. Their own fans don't even want to show up to the game. Brandon Ingram literally looks like he doesn't want to play basketball anymore. This thing gets closed out Monday night, and there is an airport party at about 1 a.m. as this team lands back in Oklahoma City.
I'm
going to put
light
that
mild.
as light mild. Same.
But let me build on it. Let me build on it. Except
okay.
mine's similar. I have two. They're going to build on each other, stacking, if you will. Not only do they win and sweep, it is on a game winner. Tell me how hot that is.
Oh,
I got one on top of that too. So keep that in mind.
I'm going to put
I'm
that
going
one at
hot
hot.
just because I don't think it's going to be close.
Oh,
It'd be a fun way to end it. That airport meetup following a game winner to seal the sweep would be a blast.
okay.
It makes me think of like one of my favorite original Thunder playoff memories was the sweep of Dallas, where Harden took over late in game 4. Like I could see a scenario like, is it Dub that steps up and kind of takes over to go will this team to victory?
I'm not gonna lie. It's been so long that it's weird hearing Thunder swept the Mavs and Harden took over. I'm like, Harden? It's been a long.
What year is it?
Yeah, it's been a long.
It has been a long time.
Okay, so the double stack is the game winner is by Josh Giddey, and that's the confidence boost he needs to ball out in round 2.
That might be Reaper.
Extra hot.
The reason I went Reaper, how many game winner scenarios? How many game winner scenarios has Josh Giddey been on the floor for this year?
The thought process.
He's usually throwing the ball in.
This hypothetical thought process is exactly what you described. He's always throwing the ball in, but there's going to be so much attention on Shea and Dub that Coach of the Year Mark is like, you know what, Josh, throw it in, 8 feet extended from the 3-point line, kind of in the corner where you could get trapped, and then just like slip to the basket, lob pass, Josh layup, game over. If that happens, by the way, in that exact sequence and order, I think the podcast owes Taylor a new MacBook.
Go ahead and clip that timestamp.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Reaper. Reaper's got to be
that scenario happens.
For that
Josh
exact scenario to happen. That's like crazy.
So that's Reaper.
Reaper has to be reserved for some really unhinged shit. If you would tell me
that qualifies,
yeah,
like Gordon Hayward takes 2 shots in game 4, that's Reaper.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, this guy. Speaking of catching strays. All right, my hot take is that in the next series, because I agree, this one is all but done.
It's Jover.
In the next series,
192-0.
We get a 25-25-25 night, 25 points apiece from Shea, Dub, and Chet.
I thought you were saying someone's going for a 25-25 line.
Chet's going 25-25-25.
Oh,
25 points apiece from the big 3.
I just saw a hot take in the chat that is Reaper. We'll tag it for later. You guys will hear it in a little bit.
I'd give that hot. I don't think that's out of the question at all.
For reference,
all three of them combined for 70 the other night, didn't they?
For reference,
Has that ever happened in NBA
Shea,
playoff history?
I don't know about that. Shay and J have both gone 20 plus in 2 of the 3 games so far, but not 25. Nobody's gone over 25 with
As a
how do I
tandem.
say? As a thank you.
Yeah.
My brain stopped functioning. They haven't had 2 guys go for 25.
Yeah.
This is like hot, bordering extra hot for me.
I agree. Like I can like quite literally see the stat muse tweet, but I don't know if I believe it. You know,
Uh-huh.
so I'll give it extra hot.
Isn't there a Gordon Hayward muse?
Yeah,
I'm sure there is.
there is.
That poor bastard running that account.
They like Gordon Hayward. Leave him alone. It's
Once
okay.
upon
Gordon
a
Hayward is a
time-
nice guy who is getting a lot of cardio right now.
Once upon a
nothing wrong
time,
with
my Twitter account was at Play Jeremy Lamb, and it was
Hey,
dedicated to
I probably followed you because I was on that
advocating
same train.
for Jeremy Lamb minutes, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I started it in the playoffs. Like I thought he was the key.
I had
Anyway.
high hopes for Jeremy Lamb.
Me too.
Sleepy boy. Justin, why don't you read us some hot takes from the chat?
Oh boy! All right, we're gonna start at the top, and they're gonna get more and more unhinged as we go. Smoot says, "Hot take of the week. I said it before, and you called me a madman. Thunder go to the Western Conference Finals and win."
Extra hot.
Extra hot.
So that means finals.
Finals.
Yes.
Correct.
Extra hot. Yeah, that's tough.
Sean, hot take. Kevin Durant is on the phone with Sam Presti from the Footprint Arena parking lot in 90 minutes.
Mild.
Wouldn't
I'm not
surprise me.
kidding. Like I literally. I
Suns
don't,
fans want a J-Dub for KD trade. by the way.
hell no. I'll say this. Should I even say this?
Say
I
Say
don't.
it.
This is like complete hypothetical speculation. I don't think that KD would be hitting up Sam Presti, but I know how much Sam Presti values relationships. And like Danilo Gallinari was in town, second to last game of the season, in a game that didn't matter for the Bucks. They didn't play anybody. And Sam like intentionally goes on the court before the game to talk to Gallo. Like he values relationships. It would not surprise me if Sam Presti hits up KD, not to like, hey, KD join the team.
Yeah.
But like they have a strong relationship. Like believe that he's saying, hey, sorry it didn't work out the way it worked out. Like hope the rest of the season, like hope the offseason goes well and good things in the future. Not to say he's calling him to come join the team, like Sean is joking around here, but like it wouldn't shock me if they were in contact in the next 24 hours. I'll say that.
You heard it here first. Nick Crane.
Stop.
Presti's calling
Stop.
KD.
Stop.
He's calling them at halftime.
Hoop Central,
Next
get
up.
the tweet ready.
Hot take. Kyle Tate says Thunder get the gentleman's sweep over the Mavs in round 2.
Oh my god.
I have some Mavs thoughts for next segment. I'm going hot.
I'm going Reaper. That would take a Luka knee injury being real.
You can't do a gentleman's sweep if you win all 4. Am I right? Kyle Tate also has a hot take. This is the one that I think made Nick laugh.
Yes.
Gordo scores 41 in game 4. Parentheses, I had a dream. It's happening.
My advice to Kyle, stop doing hard drugs to give you those dreams.
So I have 2 questions, and Kyle, I hope you'll follow up in the chat and give me some insight. Where did you get the number 41? First of all, was it actually a dream and like you saw 41, or is like 41 a special number? Do you like
You're
where
not
did
prophetic, my guy.
where did that number come from? 2, I'd like to point out that on the season, Gordon Hayward has scored a total
He didn't
of
even see it.
138 points in a Thunder uniform.
That's
So-
more than I thought.
So you're saying there's a
He's
chance.
going to score a third of his entirety of his points in one game.
Yes. Next up, Joseph. Hot take. Katie's calling Harden and Russ to talk to Presti to let them come home on a vet minimum to come off the bench.
I have had these thoughts.
Absolute reaper.
No chance it's like this summer. But if you told me if Nick came back from the future, like Rick and Morty style, and was like, "Hey, I'm Nick from 2028, and guess who's on the bench in Oklahoma City?" That wouldn't shock me, actually.
It wouldn't shock me.
Russ would shock me.
I would say Russ. I would say Russ or maybe KD. Harden feels like it would be the most shocking.
Interesting.
Russ's
personality is too strong. I don't think they want to bring back Russ play style wise.
Yeah.
And just leadership style wise. Like, that's too big of a personality to take up that locker room. And I love Russ.
It would be Dwayne Wade era Cavs.
Yes.
Yeah. No, so it would have it couldn't. That's why I keep saying like later on the road. This version of Russ that still thinks he's the guy.
No,
is
would
not
not work.
But like in 2027, when he's like more Udonis Haslem or like Cavs Dwayne Wade, where it's like, I'm probably not going to play most games, but like I'm here because I love the city. That I could totally see.
That makes sense. And I get what you're saying from an on-court perspective. I don't think, though, that the in control, like everything has to be meticulous, dominating personality would still fit with the team that they have.
I think the personality shifts when you're not the guy. That changes.
It's got to.
It's almost like the high performer in corporate America that retires and becomes like this advisor role where you kind of lay back and you're basically retired, but you're still getting paid and you're hanging out with the youngins. Like that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be.
Last but not least, Matthew Weiser, hot take: opponents start to bark to mock us.
Pelicans can't. There's not enough people in stands.
I can 100% see Luka Doncic mockingly barking at the Thunder.
God, nothing would make me happier.
Or like Russell Westbrook
Luka bark and J-Dub just jam on his goddamn head.
Russell Westbrook's going to show up to a game wearing like a dog pound uniform if they face the Clippers.
I think
I'm
the guys
pretty sure he's like done that already.
I think that the Thunder would like enjoy that.
Oh,
like, I think they would
absolutely.
love if the entire team showed up in those dog masks that the Philadelphia Eagles wore during their Super Bowl run, and the whole crowd was barking to mock them. I think they would like it.
Absolutely.
Because when things are mocked, that means you're hating.
That means you're in their
jealous
head.
of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
you're in their head.
Just like the Grizzlies, all these Grizzlies fans. We did the group interviews first and we barked first. Well, it's like, yeah, of course you're pissed because you suck. And John Morant is not playing and the team that's number one in the West is having all the fun. Like, that's why you're hating. That's how this stuff works.
That works.
Great hot takes of the week, guys. Thank you all
Love it.
for participating. We
stuff.
always love reading your guys' hot takes. Gentlemen, I want to have a conversation. I'm going to ask for permission before we start this conversation.
Consent.
I need consent. Are we allowed to look ahead?
Yeah.
Is it safe?
Yes.
Did you just cash in your card?
No.
On a consent form, you cashed in the card?
I did not say it fully, so no.
I think that counts.
No.
He got 3 of the 4 letters
heard
out,
it.
Justin.
I heard it.
Well, the 3 letters make up the same sound, dude. So no, I didn't.
I heard it.
No.
The chat is confirming.
No. Well, here's the thing. I don't play by those rules, so if I want to say it again, I'm going to say it again.
Touche. I said I printed a bunch of counterfeit cards so I could play them whenever I wanted. Incredible. I think Nick thinks it's okay that we take a peek behind the curtain and look forward a little bit.
Yeah, this is over. This series is over. I'd love to talk about the future more than this series currently happening.
Let's do it. Clippers Mavs is at 2-2. Clippers nearly gave up a 31-point lead today, but secured it in Dallas. 2-2 headed back to Los Angeles. This series goes at least 6. Game 6 would be Friday night. So I think earliest tip-off possible for a game 1 would be a week from today, Sunday. because they're not going to have either one of those teams playing a back-to-back. So I think Sunday's earliest, probably more likely a Monday game, I think is where we're at. I mean, I don't even know where we want to start at. Like, who do we prefer? Who do we want to win that series? How do we see the Thunder matching up in that series? What are things Thunder can take from series 1 over to series 2? I'll lead us off with a thought that I had today when watching Clippers Mavs, and I want your guys' take on this opinion. You can tell me if I'm crazy, if it's a Reaper take, whatever. When I watch the Mavericks play basketball, and I think about their style of play and their personnel, I think the matchup for the Thunder is basically like the Pelicans matchup, but you just turn the meter up a little bit higher. Pelicans have 2 guys who can create their own shot and need to set everybody else up. The Mavs have 2 guys who can create their own shot and need to set everybody else up. I think the defensive assignment against the Mavs is almost the same game plan you have against the Pelicans. You put your 2 best defenders on their 2-headed snake engine of the entire operation, and you try to cut off the rest of the team. Now, don't get me wrong, Luka and Kyrie are leaps and bounds better than CJ and BI.
Exactly. I was to say, turning up the notch a little bit is a gross understatement. But
yes, I get it. But one thing that I think the Thunder have done really well in this Pelicans series is they've thrown Dort on Brandon Ingram, and they've said, we're not cheating off anywhere else. Brandon, you're not going to get 8 spray outs to Herb Jones and Trey Murphy because we're doubling and helping. It's Dort Island, baby. We're not going to let you rack up assists and let the other guys get going. We're going to take out the engine. And I think that is exactly what a Dallas series would be. I think it would specifically be Dort on Luka and Dub on Kyrie. Oh, you disagree, Nick?
I think it's the exact opposite.
Wow. I think they prefer the length on Kyrie and the physicality on Luka.
I completely disagree.
I think because Dort has had a lot of success on Luka in the past, it's hard not to go back to that.
I think it's kind of the same matchup with the
because I thought they'd put Dub on BI
well.
more than they have, and they didn't.
Dub has been specifically like the CJ guy with the length against the smaller guard. I think they would do that to Kyrie.
I don't know. I mean, I think both scenarios are awesome. The fact that we're arguing over who's going to guard 2 superstars is a great problem to have. I don't know. It's while the BI CJ comparison is a good one. It's like a 2-star thing, and the rest they got to be created for. They just play so different. I also wonder about one of the 2. I won't name names. Is going to intentionally try to draw fouls. Who do you trust not to foul? Is a big question. I think
one thing I think that is for sure, though, the Thunder's not going to send doubles and cheat over. I think they're going to say, Luka, if you want to score 70 and beat us, but we're not going to give you the 15 assists. We're not going to cheat over and give up the free lob every other play. I think it's going to be cut off everything else. And if they want to go one-on-one with Dort, they can go one-on-one with Dort.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think both are good scenarios. Like the fact that you have 2 guys that can cover both is great. They're both super dynamic, but so different. Like Luka is going to back you down, try to do the turnaround fadeaway. Luka's going to shoot a lot of fadeaway threes. Do you want length or do you want someone's going to get into him? Like, I don't know. When you envision the Thunder playing the Mavs, and you're envisioning the nightmare scenario where the Mavs are cooking the Thunder, is it Luka in the mid-range around the rim, or is it Luka hitting these crazy sidestep fadeaway triples with one guy in his face versus the other.
That's fair. I feel like I almost live with those crazy sidestep triples versus Luka kind of digging his way down like below the free throw line and like just doing Luka things where they're like the 1 million pump fakes and the complaining to the refs and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
If Dort is smothering him and he makes a shot, you live with that. And I think that's kind of what you're getting at, Jacob. Like,
Yeah.
if
he hits the
Dort's all over
sidestep
him,
deep
Yeah.
three over Dort, I mean, I'm going to be pissed. But
Yeah.
I mean, what do you
live
do
with
there
that.
besides tip
What do
your
you
cap?
do?
A lot of teams have tipped their caps
For sure.
and lost.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Other side. Who the hell guards Shea?
I think they put PJ on him.
The last
Mhm.
game they had PJ on Chet.
They won't this time.
You think they just guard Chet straight up?
I think
Which
I
means
think
they guard Josh straight up. They are one of the most egregious teams at the ignore Josh Giddey at all costs.
Agreed. And I think if we were a Mavs podcast, I think what we'd be saying
Thank God
is
we're not.
Thank God we're not. What we'd be saying is if Chet Holmgren is good enough to beat us by just dominating and scoring a bunch of points on the offensive end, we're going to lose this series.
Yep.
I think they're going to say, let Chet take 25 shots. Because, first of all, he won't. We've never seen that from Chet, besides like 2 games all season. I like they're definitely concerned about him defensively, and they should be. But offensively, like maybe he does have a crazy game like he did in game 3 against the Pelicans, or no, game 2 when he hit all the threes. But statistically, it's almost as likely that he has a 1 of 5 game from 3. And he wasn't effective, even though you didn't guard him at all. You know, like I think they're fine letting Chet go cook. Like they probably prefer Chet to go cook, just like we'd prefer PJ to go cook. You know, like it's the same thing.
Well, if letting Chet go cook is the answer because they're putting PJ Washington on Shea, I feel pretty good about the Thunder's offensive chances.
I think the other matchup that'll be interesting to watch is Gafford. It's to your point, Jacob, kind of similar to the conversations around like what's Chet and Valanciunas going to look like? Like how's that going to play out? I would say similar, like eyes are going to be on that matchup, whether or not like you said, Gafford does he spend a lot of time guarding Chet? I don't know, but the opposite, I think, is his physicality. Does it affect Chet's aggressiveness at the rim, or does Chet take advantage of that matchup like we've seen him do a lot of times when the other player is more physical?
And Gafford is so much different of a big than Valanciunas.
Totally.
Valanciunas is, I'm going to dribble the ball 20 times into the dirt and then try to hit like a little baby hook. Gafford is touching the ball when it's on its way into the basket.
Yeah.
It's lobs.
Yep.
It's catching dunks. It's dump offs. So a very different style where Chet is a rim protector. He'll rotate over and try to block a shot, which will leave that backside open sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think the storyline is the same, Justin, but I think the style of matchup, is very different.
2 things.
Agreed.
I think rookies. We're going to talk Clippers too. People in the chat are saying, "What about the Clippers?" We're going to talk about the Clippers too. I think rookies make a big difference in this series if they play each other. I think Derek Lively might be a better matchup against Chet than Gafford. Gafford's a better player. I think Lively matches more similar. Like he can guard. He can't guard in space. Like he couldn't guard Shea in space. He can guard Chet in space. Shot blocker, similar build. Like I think that's an interesting matchup where it's like if you can neutralize Chet or get similar production with a rookie, throw him out there. Flip side of that. I could eat my words on this. I probably will eat my words on this. Cason Wallace looked really good against Kyrie this year. Like a couple times, like almost got cookies on Kyrie, who's like a phenomenal, maybe one of the best ever ball handlers.
Did you see the finish he had today?
It's nuts. Like
in that fourth quarter over 3 guys. That's
crazy.
stupid.
and he can like shoot left-handed. He drives in the lane and shoots left-handed floaters. Like
The geometry is different when the Earth's flat, dude. I'm telling you.
Must be nice. I don't think Kaysen will shut down Kyrie, to be clear, but I am 100% certain that Kaysen Wallace will spend time guarding Kyrie. We talked Dort versus Dub.
Yeah.
We didn't talk Shea, who also could guard Kyrie. I think Kaysen Wallace will intentionally be inserted into the lineup to guard Kyrie Irving because he is a different type of defender than Dort. Like they're both great. I think we all think about like defenders. Like they're both great guard defenders, but they play defense so different.
Yeah, they do.
I think Kaysen is going to be a Kyrie Irving assignment. Whether he's good or bad, I don't know, but he's going to be an assignment. So for that reason, rookies who were traded for each other will be a storyline.
Yeah, that'll be fun. You guys want to switch over to the Clippers talk? Big thing for me.
Let's do it.
In a Thunder Clippers matchup. I don't think this is a hot take either, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think the Thunder unequivocally have the best player in the series. Like, I don't think it's a conversation.
Consistently, yes.
Like PG can get hot. Harden can get hot.
PG can get hot.
J-Dub can get hot. I think the Thunder have the best player. The Mavs series, it's game to game between Shea and Luka.
Luka's not been good in the playoffs, to be clear.
For sure.
Yeah.
I appreciated your tweet from the account today
of
his percentage, Nick.
How'd you know that was me?
Oh,
are you kidding? Nick's favorite team is whoever the Mavs are playing.
100%.
Yeah. Though I'm on record, I want the Mavs to win the series.
Well, yeah,
for convenience purposes.
I bet you do.
Well, the Clippers losing in the first round when Oklahoma City owns their future.
That's true.
Come on now.
That's true. Yeah. In a Clipper series, the Thunder have the best player in the series. I don't think it's a question. I think if you polled all of like smart NBA people, the overwhelming favorite would be Shea is the best player in that series.
Yes.
I also kind of like the matchups a little bit better in that series for the Thunder as well, considering I don't think Kawhi is going to be 100% in this playoffs.
Doesn't sound like it.
Even if they make the Western Conference Finals, I do not think he's 100%. So I think PG gets the Shea matchup. There's not a lot of really other great matchups for the Clippers when they're on defense. Meanwhile, I think the Thunder have really good matchups for the Clippers. I think Chet on Zubats is fine. Like, you're totally okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you love Dort on Harden. You want to talk about putting your best defender on their point of attack guy. Yep. Dub on PG is just like young PG on PG.
Yeah. And back to your last comment, a young and experienced Lou Dort versus a prime James Harden was a great matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about
old
a
James
better
Harden.
Lou Dort versus an old James Harden. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The bench is interesting. Norm Powell is a flamethrower.
Yeah. Holy cow.
But Dallas kind of plays at a little bit of a slower pace with Luka. I think back to the 2 wins the Thunder had against the Clippers this year.
Mm-hmm.
The Clippers just struggled with the youth and the up and down and the super fast pace of play that the Thunder play with. I think that could play a huge role in that series as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think this is the preferable matchup of the two. Like
I agree.
Between Clippers and Mavs. And the scariest part about the Clippers is what they can do in theory, right? We saw it a little today. Like James Harden can still go off in theory. Paul George can still go off in theory. Can they do it in actuality in an actual series against the Thunder? I don't know.
Let it be known. We are creatures of habit and recency bias. Paul George,
Absolutely.
2 days ago, scored 7 points on 3 of 11 shooting.
Yeah.
Just
that
throwing that out there.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. In theory, right? He can go off, but
and he did against the Thunder the last time they played. But can he do that consistently? Probably
Exactly. And then outside of the guys you mentioned, Jacob, like they have more weapons than Dallas does, but it's still like outside of the guys that they're paying billions of dollars to, it starts to get a little scrappy elsewhere on that roster.
Agreed.
And I think once again the continuity that the Thunder have, I think makes it the continuity and the youth, I think make it tough for that matchup. I think the thing that's most intriguing for me is purely narrative. Like this young Thunder team slicing through the literal like face of Ghosts of Thunder Pass on the way to the Western Conference Finals would be an all-time narrative.
It really is. It's nuts.
You know who I think the best fade defender in a Clipper series would be? Well, obviously Paul George.
Don't say Terrence Mann.
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I think Russell Westbrook's game is. Someone tweeted this the other day. I wish I remember who it was because I give him a shout out. They said Russell Westbrook in parentheses, in a good way, is finally channeling his inner Pat Bev, which I agree. But for a guy like Pat Bev to be effective, he has to be able to get in your head, and it's easy to get in Luka's head. Clearly, I don't know if Shea lets that happen.
Agreed. I just think Russ's physicality, for what it's worth, I think Shea would cook his ass. I just think that's one of their best defensive options.
Rewind to the start of this podcast, the inception of this podcast, and you're talking about. I think that the Thunder would cook Russell Westbrook's ass. It's weird.
Time.
My question on the two potential matchups is around not the stars, but the bench and like the guys around them. So I'm going to read a few names, not a holistic group of names. Like there's a bunch of guys that could play. Clippers, outside of their stars, you're looking at Terrence Mann. You're looking at Daniel Tice. You're looking at PJ Tucker, Amir Coffey, Norman Powell, Russell Westbrook, maybe a Bones Highland, maybe. With the Mavs, you're looking at Dante Exum, looking at PJ Washington, Derek Jones Jr., Josh Green, Maxi Kleber, Derek Lively. Jaden Hardy's not going to play. Like, it's easy to focus on the big names. But, like, let's assume the big names are washes, because they probably should be in a playoff series. Which one of those two teams scare you more with their depth?
Probably the Clippers, I think.
Simply because of Norm?
Norm's really good. Bringing Russ off the bench is really good. Let me tell you something. If it is the Clippers and we're seeing PJ Tucker out there, mark that down as a W for Oklahoma City. That is a gift if they put PJ on the floor.
I think a big thing, if it's a Mavs series that we're going to talk about, is Tim Hardaway. I think
the dude can get hot, but I feel like he's also got shit for brains.
I think the Mavs are better with him not playing. Like
I agree.
That's my.
He's
also the guy, like Jacob said. He could go like 7 of 8 from 3 and just like
100%
win a whole game by himself. So he's kind of Norm Powell-ish.
But he could also go like 0 of 12 from 3 and arguably win you a game,
and
he's got shit for brains.
And he has. I think that's going to be, if it's a Mavericks Thunder series, that's going to be a storyline, is like the same way that Kawhi right now is like, should you even play this guy when he's not healthy? Like he's not doing anything out there. Tim Hardaway is like, should you rush him back for that ankle injury? Should you not play him? You know,
it's fair.
Remember, everybody on this podcast wanted to trade Dennis Schroeder for Tim Hardaway in like 2021.
Let's wrap this section up. 2 questions. A, who do you think wins that Clippers-Mavs series now that we're 4 games in? B, who do you think the Thunder would have a better chance beating and advancing to the Western Conference Finals against of those 2 teams? Let's start with who wins this series. Justin, what do you think?
Mavs.
Nick?
Agreed.
I think I agree too. I think the Clippers really messed up, wasting like a 7 of 23 night from Luka on Friday.
Mm-hmm. And that's been almost all of his nights, to be honest, though. That's what scares me. To the second part of your question, I'll wait till you ask the question.
Yeah. Who do you think the Thunder would have a better chance beating in a round 2 matchup, Justin?
Clippers.
I think I agree. I've been very back and forth, but like Luka has been so bad. If he just has one like actually efficient game, whoever the opponent is
if
cooked.
that comes Wednesday and they go up 3-2,
yeah,
heading back to Dallas, you do not feel good.
No, hell no. No.
Yeah. I think the ideal scenario for the Thunder is that the Clippers win this series in 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then turn around 2 days later and play a young Thunder team on a week of rest.
Yeah. I mean, there's a real world where Kawhi's knee and Paul George's shoulder and like all these things are flaring up, and it's like,
and Harden goes back to being Harden.
This team is
James Harden's strip club budget.
I don't.
Let me ask you this:
thank God he's going to Oklahoma City. I don't think this team is built for like longevity.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
if it does end up being a Clippers Thunder matchup in the second round, somebody today asked me, "How loud do you think the ovation would be for Russ?" I want to flip that coin. We get 6 games into a Thunder Clippers matchup. Thunder fans start to change their tune about how they feel about Russ.
I think he might get booed.
No.
If he did something like he did in game 3 to the Mavs, where he like shoved somebody in the chest and was barking at, like, I think Thunder fans would boo him. 100%.
I think the only Thunder fans that would boo him are like the new or young Thunder fans that didn't experience.
I don't think I agree.
I think I might side with Justin on this one.
So would you two boo Russell Westbrook?
They would give him an ovation starting.
Would
lineups.
you two
listen to
boo
me?
Russell Westbrook.
They would give him an ovation in starting lineups. But if he pulled something like that in game, like picture him getting in the face of J-Dub, shoving Shea, and yelling at the Jeremy Price sitting courtside tattoo guy. Like,
love him. He's dope.
They'd boo the hell out of him.
Have you not?
For what it's worth, I don't think Russ would yell at the fans. Russ
him.
was yelling "F you" at all the fans in Dallas the other day, which I love.
Dude,
I don't see him doing that to Oklahoma City.
No.
But like, if you are a real follower of this team, you know how Russell Westbrook operates.
Hey,
you really
love the guy, hate the antics.
So you would boo him, Jacob.
I didn't say you take it personal. I didn't say the booing has to be personal.
I think they'll still love him. I just think he will piss them off in a series.
Piss them off, I agree. Boo him is a different level.
I don't think it would be like, it's not like we don't like this guy. It's not a Draymond Green boo.
Correct.
It's a, you're just doing some bullshit we don't like boo.
It's what Russ would want.
A boot? No, I don't know, man.
When he's on the floor, he only got one friend.
WWRD.
We've all been to a lot of Thunder games the last 15 years. I don't know if there's been one that's as loud and passionate as Russ's return in the Rockets uniform.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Like, I just don't see a collective boo. I see boos from people, but the arena booing where you can hear it on. I don't see that at all.
Okay, you know what Russ could do for the Thunder in that series? A little pay homage to his first team. Throw him a bone.
Throw the books.
Shoot like 10 threes, Russ. Just get them up.
Incredible.
The first Russ Chet meet at the rim would be awesome.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. On the other side, we will go around the association real quick to talk about some other matchups. We will be right back. And we are back. I am pulling up our predictions from a little over a week ago, a week and 2 days ago.
Say preseason. I'm like, damn.
Oh, no. I can probably rattle them off the top of my head, but will one of you two pull up current matchup standings?
Mm-hmm. Like
and
playoff standings?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
and we will run through them. Let's start with Celtics Heat. Justin, where is Celtics Heat at right now?
It's loading. Boston leads 2-1. There it is.
2-1. Our pre-playoff predictions. JD said Celtics in 4. I said Celtics in 4. Justin and Taylor said Celtics in 5. Nick said Celtics in 5. So
Dang right.
You guys still feeling good about your Celtics
Feeling
in 5?
great
Yeah,
about
feels
Celtics
right.
in 5.
I do not.
It took Miami having a historic 3-point shooting outing to beat the
To beat
Celtics.
them. Also, Thunder Chick is in the chat. She tweeted us the other day. She made a little graph and wrote all of our initials on it and is keeping track
Incredible.
of our playoff predictions,
That's
which
dope.
is very cool.
Thank
Very
you.
cool.
Legendary.
That's badass.
Next one, Knicks versus the Sixers. Justin?
Knicks lead 3-1 after today's win in Madison Square Garden South.
Here was the predictions. I don't know what the hell JD wrote on this. I took Knicks in 6. So did Justin and Taylor. JD took Knicks in 7. And here's JD's note. It says, Knicks Sixers in 7.
I think I actually remember what happened. You picked Sixers in 7, I think. And JD like auto-filled and went down the list. I was watching him in the doc on the episode. He went down and put Knicks in like by default, assuming everyone else was
So
okay,
you've got Sixers in 7.
Yeah, I still think
and
that's
then
a
Knicks at
possibility.
Sixers and
Math
panicked.
would say it is a possibility, Nick.
I don't think that the Knicks are as good as they're getting hyped up to be.
that's
Fair.
the
I feel
story
good
of the
about my Knicks in 6.
It's just fun to say.
It is fun to say. Next one, Justin, Pacers Bucks.
Oh, let's hear
Indiana.
those predictions.
Leads 3-1.
3-1 Indiana. Does this thing get closed out in game 5, guys?
Yes.
I agree.
Yes. And I remember Nick Crane getting hostile with me for my prediction.
Well, I didn't know Dame and Giannis are missing the whole damn series.
didn't know Dame and Giannis.
I mean,
JD said Pacers in 6. I said Bucks in 6. Justin said Pacers in 6. Taylor took Bucks in 7. And Nick took Bucks in 5.
Yikes.
Injuries played a big role in this one, though.
yeah, huge.
It's still fun to make fun of Nick.
Bobby
though.
Portis gone. Come on.
What an idiot.
Yeah, that was stupid of him. Like that's his own damn fault.
100%. That's JD's guy. Bobby
That
P.
is
And the P
JD's
stands
guy.
for punch.
Bobby P.
4 Cavs versus 5 Magic.
Series tied 2-2.
We're heading back to Cleveland. Cleveland went down to Mickey Mouse land and shit the bed.
They did.
Ate too much of the mouse food, as some might say.
Unbelievable.
JD took Magic in 7. I took
What?
Magic in 6. Justin took Magic in 6. Taylor took Cavs in 7. Nick took Cavs in 6.
I
How
don't
we
remember
feeling,
all y'all
guys?
taking the Magic like that.
Nick's
Holy
having a
cow.
hard time with this.
That is their offense is so tragic. If they don't
Mhm.
draft an elite shooter, I'm going to shoot somebody. I mean, holy cow. Their offense is so bad. So
It's bad.
they have an incredible defense. But if you get one Donnie Mitchell nuclear game, it's over. Score 110 and you might win the whole damn series.
I feel good
Big
about
if.
my Magic in 6 pick right now.
I agree.
Come
You
on.
can try to defend it all you want, Nick.
No.
Nick feels good about his Cavs in 6.
Mhm.
Yes. Dude. Okay, let's make a bet on the pod. What are we betting?
No.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Jimmy John's?
I don't like Jimmy John's.
What do you
I think
like?
it's
Jimmy
okay.
John's
What do you
stinks.
like? What do you like?
You throw out a topic. Are we doing sandwiches, wings,
Sandwiches.
burgers? What'd you say?
Sandwiches.
Hmm.
You like
This shouldn't be this hard.
Let's
Like-
do.
City Bites? You like
Oh, we could do a City Bites bet.
Okay.
Hey,
City Bites or Firehouse subs?
City Bites. Let's do City Bites.
City Bites bet. Do they have to hit it in 6?
Yeah, because we both have 6
Okay.
both directions.
I like it.
Yeah. If it's 7 either way, neither of us pay up.
I like it.
Okay.
Also, if it's 5.
Yeah. It's one sandwich, no chips, no drink.
All right, you cheap bastard. Let's go out west. Justin, Nuggets, Lakers.
Denver leads 3-1.
Hey, shout out to the Lakers for winning 1-12 against the Nuggets.
Incredible. What an achievement.
Can we pause there for 1 second?
Uh-huh.
I have an opinion. Someone here yells. Does the fact that Los Angeles has been up at halftime in all 4 games make you feel like the Nuggets are a little bit more vulnerable than you maybe thought before the playoffs?
I think the Nuggets were overhyped as this like
Reigning
73-1 Warriors
Sure
team.
not.
They are definitely not that. The Lakers being up at half doesn't really change that for me.
I agree.
I still don't think they're like some unstoppable team.
I agree.
I agree. I if the Lakers could finish any kind of game, or even like Jamal Murray doesn't make a crazy shot,
That shot was dope, by the way.
like we might be talking about a 2-2 series, which is way different than like Lakers are cooked. They won 1 game.
Did you see the
it's
stat
3-1.
about who has been leading in this series?
Huh.
And the Lakers have led for like 150 or 160 minutes, and the Nuggets have led for like 30 something.
Doesn't surprise me. Like that's my point. Like,
Yeah.
we control the Lakers all day, and like they're down
one team
3-1.
closes, the other doesn't.
And it is over. To be clear, the series is over. But this has not been like a Nuggets are unstoppable kind of series.
Agreed. JD took Nuggets in 4. Get him out of here.
Get him out of here.
Justin and I had Nugs in 5. Taylor and Nick had Nugs in 6.
I still like 6.
Justin, how do you feel?
I feel great. Nugs and 5.
I feel great heading back to Denver for Game 5.
Agreed.
All right. Well, Justin, we've reaped a little bit. It is time to sow, my friend.
Nope. I don't like it.
Wolves versus Suns.
I'm glad you got your comments out, Justin.
No comment. Minnesota currently leads 3-0. They're also up 2 points late in the third. Right now.
JD took Wolves in 7. I took Suns in 7. Justin took Suns in 6. Taylor took Wolves in 7. Nick took Wolves in 5. Nick, how do you feel right now?
It's almost like the Suns sucked all year and they still suck now.
Yeah, Suns are cooked. Not this
They're
year. The
real
Suns
bad.
are cooked. I want to make sure
For the next decade.
I have this on record. The Suns are cooked for the next decade.
Yeah.
The next time the Suns might be like legitimately like pushing past a first round series good might be in the 2030s.
Yeah.
They
Crazy.
traded picks, they traded swaps, they traded swap rights to swaps. They can't like aggregate players and trades. They're paying more for 3 guys than some teams are paying for their entire team. They have nothing.
If I'm not mistaken,
And the way out is trading Booker.
I think they only have 2 second-round picks in their entire portfolio between now and 2030. I would be remiss if I didn't ask the question. If the Suns, when the Suns are in the offseason tonight or 2 nights from now, 6 nights from now, whatever it might be, and they're like, how on earth do we like hedge our future? And they come to the decision, we've got to trade KD. Okay. You're Sam Presti. You get a call from James Jones. He says, hey, we got to trade Kevin. Like, you got a relationship. You may have talked to him in the parking lot. What are you giving up? J-Dub, I know you already mentioned that earlier. That's not a fucking trade. It's not happening.
Did you just cast the card in again?
There are no
My
cards.
guy.
They're fake. They're fake.
My guy.
What in the off season, what would you, and okay, pretend I know there's a whole cap situation. You got to pay Chet, you got to pay Dub. Assuming you don't trade either of them and you can still pay both of them, like what are you trading for KD? How many? Let's go draft picks. What are you trading for KD on the draft capital side of things?
I'm not until this contract's up.
You're not. You're waiting for free agency.
I am waiting until this contract is up and I can sign him for a mid-level exception.
Kevin is signing for the mid-level exception in what year?
His contract's up in 2 years.
You think he's signing for the mid-level exception in 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
I'm also on that phone call. I'm making James Jones say his name to me multiple times, like Mike Jones.
So he's due 51 next year.
Yeah.
54 the year after.
When they call, I say, brother, call me in 2 years.
But like,
it's nuts.
Or we'll take him into the cap space.
From the Thunder standpoint, like the upcoming year, you got a hella cap space.
Mm-hmm.
It gets tricky after that, so that's a whole ordeal. But Kevin, you're not trading anything for him. Even if they say,
with Jacob,
we'll give you Kevin for 2 firsts and salary filler that the Thunder don't have. But if they did, you're not giving up 2 firsts?
I don't think so.
Wow.
Why would I?
Wow. I'm not saying I disagree. I'm just saying like, it's a crazy thing to think about.
It is crazy.
It is.
Yep.
It is. It absolutely is. All right. We have 2 more. Clippers, Mavs. We know that
Series
one's 2-2.
tied 2-2.
JD took Clippers in 7. I took Mavs in 6. Justin took Mavs in 6. Taylor, Mavs in 7. Nick, Mavs in 7. I think all of us would feel pretty good right now. Yeah.
Yep.
Last one. Thunder versus Pels.
I don't know if you guys knew this. Thunder up 3-0.
3-0. JD and I both took Thunder in 5. The rest of you guys took Thunder in 6.
I didn't think CJ and BI were going to be so damn bad.
I remember
they're
very
bad.
vividly. Nick, don't take this personally. I want to go back and pull the audio of Nick and Taylor arguing on this podcast.
I'll tell you what I said.
About who would be the second best player in the series.
I'll tell you what I said. What I said was Brandon Ingram is the second best player in the series because he's a guy that's proven in his career he can average 28 a game. And he's 6'10", 6'11", with his super high reach on his jumper that can score over anybody when he wants to. What I didn't know is that Brandon Ingram is going to get to the playoffs and decide, even though I'm the best scorer on the team, I'm going to take like 11 to 15 shots. That's what I didn't know. So
yeah.
I'll take the
For
L
what
on
it's
that
worth,
one.
I don't think Brandon is saying I'm only going to take. I think he can only find 11
Right.
to 15.
Yeah.
I think you can find whatever you want to find. Look at Luka Doncic. He's taking sidestep 30-footers. Whether they go in or not, Mr. 9 of 22, that's a different story.
Maybe BI should. And they'll might score more than 85.
Yeah.
Dude, like, try something.
Maybe they'll get back to their 92.
Like, I was a BI guy before the series. I would still think BI is a premier scorer in the league. But this has been, like, career-altering.
Not great.
Bad.
Cavs
I wanna look-
losing
I wanna
6.
look up
We get a
one.
BI
Hold on.
Darius Garland trade.
Hold on. Hold with me for 2 seconds. I'm looking at Brandon Ingram playoff stats. We are going. Here we go. So this season, he's averaging 16.3 points a game on 41% from the floor. Last time he was in the playoffs, he averaged 27 points per game on 47.5% from the floor. This is just like not the BI that we've ever seen. Which credit to Lou Dort. That's a huge credit to Lou Dort. But
100%.
before the series,
It's the Dort effect.
I didn't think Lou Dort was going to be shut down at 28 point per game score. Like, that's different level.
Clamps. Absolute clamps. Is that all, guys?
That's
We've
all.
gone way longer than I thought we'd
No
talk for.
kidding. Get
Hey,
me
thank
out
you
of
guys
here.
for joining. Guess what? 24 hours from now. Justin, in 24 hours, are we moving on to round 2?
Yes.
Nick?
On a Josh Giddey buzzer beater inbounding and then cutting to the rim, and then yes.
I love it. We will be with you guys tomorrow after Game 4. Thank you for checking out the Uncontested. We've had a lot of new listeners recently. I'd like to encourage you, if you are a new listener, if you're checking us out for the first time and you enjoy what you hear, subscribe to us on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast from. That would mean a ton to us. To our longtime listeners who are always here in the chat, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for being on here. We appreciate the heck out of you. New or old listeners, everybody, join tomorrow night after the Thunder take on the Pelicans in Game 4 and what we will think is the last game of the series. Come hang out. We'll see you then. Until then, also, I just saw it in the chat, so I got to mention it. We will also tweet out details about where to meet the team at the airport once they fly in from New Orleans tomorrow night.
Love it.
So if that's your thing, if you want to go to the airport,
Tweeting from the Uncontested account?
100% yes.
What's the handle?
At _uncontested.
You said we got all these new listeners, but didn't provide where to go get the details. So thank you.
Go find us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube,
There you go.
TikTok, Facebook.
Don't say TikTok. Taylor is not posted
Taylor's
in
not on the
months.
TikTok. God dang it, Taylor.
He always says, I'm going to get really active this year, and then never does anything.
He says it like weekly.
I know.
Taylor's never heard of like under promise, over perform. He got it backwards.
The only person you can trust on socials is Justin. That's what I've learned.
I don't know.
Unless
About
you want some shit posting, then you got JD.
Then you got me too.
Yes.
That is true.
When
We
you
will
look-
see you guys in 24 hours after Game 4. Until then, and as always, Thunder up.
What a pro wants.